All right, are you ready for an absolute monumental shift in sports history? Because the 2026 World Cup isn't just another tournament. It is an unprecedented, globe-spanning event that is literally about to rewrite the record books. So today, in this explainer, we're demystifying the sheer, mind-blowing scale of what's about to happen on the world stage. We are talking about a fundamental change to how the world's most popular sport crowns its champion, bringing in entirely new layers of strategy, endurance, and, quite frankly, massive logistical complexity.
Okay, let's dive into this 104. That is the jaw-dropping number of fixtures we're getting. By expanding the field to a massive 48 teams, we're totally leaving behind the traditional format and adding dozens of extra matches. I mean, this isn't just a tiny bump in the schedule. It's a huge leap from the 64 games we're used to seeing. And the physical and logistical scale of this expansion, it changes the entire dynamic of the tournament. More teams absolutely mean more distinct styles of play clashing on the pitch, but it also means a much wider margin for attrition and fatigue as the event rolls on.
Now, to keep us from getting totally overwhelmed, here is our structured roadmap to guide us clearly from the macro scale all the way down to the ultimate climax. We'll hit 1. The biggest tournament ever. 2. The group stage breakdown. 3. The knockout gauntlet. 4. Global superstars to watch. And finally, 5. The historic 2026 final.
So, jumping right into Section 1, the biggest tournament ever. This is where we see how the 2026 edition completely rewrites the historical format of the sport's biggest event.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about. We aren't just looking at one host nation this time around. The tournament spans 3 massive countries: Canada, Mexico, and the United States. And it's spread out across 16 distinct host cities. Think about that for a second. From Toronto down to Monterey, over to Miami, teams will be navigating vastly different climates, time zones, and altitudes. Playing a match at sea level in thick coastal humidity, and then flying thousands of miles to play the next one in the thin air of Mexico City, that is a unique sports science puzzle right there. The sheer infrastructure and travel required for this geographic spread is monumental, and it's going to force teams to prepare their physical conditioning like never before.
Moving on down from the map to the calendar, here's Section 2. The group stage breakdown, navigating the massive opening phase.
And the action ramps up right away. This massive beast actually begins with a ceremonial start on June 11th in the iconic Mexico City Stadium, where Mexico takes on South Africa. The very next day, June 12th, the USA opens their campaign against Paraguay out in Los Angeles. Then, on June 13th, we get a massive, highly anticipated clash as Brazil faces Morocco in New York, New Jersey. Seeing these opening fixtures really grounds all that dense scheduling data into a highly anticipated reality. Setting the tone in those early matches is absolutely critical, right? A slow start in a massive field of 48 teams can quickly put even the tournament favorites on their back foot.
You can already feel the cultural energy surrounding these group stage games, and it's going to be electric. As Jim Harbaugh noted, there is extreme excitement in LA for the USA opener. You can just imagine the atmosphere building in the streets as the whole world basically arrives at these host cities. And because of the vast diaspora communities all across North America, many of these visiting nations will effectively be playing home games. They're going to fill stadiums with local, passionate supporters that can completely shift the momentum of a match.
That sense of global unification, it's perfectly mirrored in the tournament's official anthem titled DNA. And get a load of this lineup. It features legendary tenor Andrea Bocelli, superstar Megan Thee Stallion, and global DJ David Guetta. Talk about an incredibly diverse mashup of genres. But really, it represents the international flavor of the event itself. Just like the World Cup, it brings together completely disparate elements to create something with massive, undeniable global appeal.
Now, things get a bit more intense as we hit Section 3, the knockout gauntlet, surviving the road to the final. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it introduces the brand new round of 32, kicking off on June 28th. Visually, it compresses a grueling month of soccer into one clean journey. But on the pitch, because of the expanded field, teams literally have to survive an entirely extra knockout round before they even reach the traditional round of 16 on July 4th. That means an extra 90 or maybe 120 minutes of physically taxing, do-or-die soccer. Squad depth and player rotation are going to be more critical than ever on this unforgiving journey to the semi-finals on July 14th. Managers simply won't be able to just rely on their starting 11. They've got to use their entire roster to survive that immense physical load.
Once those knockout stages begin, the margin for error totally disappears. Tactics and mental fortitude have to take over. Mauricio Pochettino captured this intense pressure perfectly when he said, "It's too late for motivational speeches." By the time you're deep in that gauntlet, survival is purely about execution. Systems have to be second nature, and players have to be incredibly tactically disciplined. Just one defensive lapse or a single missed rotation, that's the difference between advancing and booking a flight home.
Bringing things down from the logistics to the human level, let's look at Section 4, Global Superstars to Watch. The absolute titans of the sport who will define these matches.
What makes this 2026 tournament so endlessly fascinating is that it serves as a profound generational clash. We are going to witness iconic veterans desperately fighting for one final international triumph, going head-to-head with rising young prodigies who are eager to make their mark. It is quite literally a passing of the torch moment, capturing the sport precisely as one legendary era closes and a brand new one begins.
Just look at the sheer, mind-boggling talent on display here. You've got the legendary old guard like Lionel Messi defending Argentina's title and Cristiano Ronaldo representing Portugal in what could very well be their final appearances. Then you have the unstoppable forces right in their absolute prime, players like Kylian Mbappe for France and Erling Haaland for Norway. And finally, the brilliant young sparks, Lamine Yamal for Spain, Jude Bellingham pulling the strings for England, and Christian Pulisic carrying the hopes of the USA. It's a true, unparalleled cross-section of the sport's past, present, and future.
But notice the contrast here. On one side, you have your Golden Boot forerunners, the heavily favored superstars expected to score and dominate. Every single touch they take is heavily scrutinized under the weight of immense national expectations. But on the other side, you have the warm-up wonders. These are the gritty, fiercely determined players like Iraq's Amir Al-Amari, whose singular mission is to show their country's ability to rise against the odds. That fierce, scrappy determination provides some of the absolute best narratives of the tournament, reminding us that individual brilliance often clashes directly with collective national pride. Let's move to and see how this builds up to our final section, ramping the energy back up for Section 5, the historic 2026 final, the ultimate climax.
Because after 103 grueling, completely unpredictable fixtures spread across 16 cities and 3 nations, the entire world's attention will focus on one single point. It all comes down to match 104 on July 19, 2026 in New York, New Jersey. One match to crown the champion of the most expansive tournament ever held. All the crazy logistics, the cross-continent travel, the tactical adjustments, and the sheer physical fatigue, it all culminates right here on the pitch.
Which leaves us with one final, massive question. Who will raise the trophy in 2026? Will it be a returning legend cementing an untouchable legacy, or a rising star ushering in a whole new era of soccer? Well, we've covered the epic scale, the unforgiving format, and the superstars waiting in the wings. Now, we just have to wait for kickoff. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and enjoy the tournament.